number 5. And it's going to take some extra steps to get to the final answer, but this is what I need you to see. First of all, if we look at the index here is the same as the second index, which is the same as the third index. However, it's not the case for the radicands. The radicand here is 12. The radicand here is 75. And the radicand here is 3. They're not the same, so we cannot combine them as it is. So the next thing that you need to check is, can I actually simplify the radicands? And what do I mean by that? It's what we did before. How can I rewrite 12 so that it has a square inside that will cancel with this 2? Because remember, there are hidden 2's here, and I'm going to rewrite it to make your life easier. But we know that I can rewrite this expression as 2 squared times 3. And I can go ahead and rewrite this as, if you don't understand where I'm coming from with this, take a look at the number tree. Okay, so this is, if you divide by 5, you get 15. And you can break the 15 down as 5 times 3. So I can go ahead and say that this is the same as 5 squared, so I have 1 and 2 times 3. And there's nothing I can do with this one, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So now we've learned that if I go ahead and cancel this exponent with this index, I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the radical, and I'm going to have 2 square root of 3 plus, again, I'm going to eliminate the exponent with the radical, and the 5 is going to be removed from the radical, so I have 5 times square root of 3, and I have, technically speaking, a 1 square root of 3. So now that I've simplified, I can see that the indices are the same, but so are the radicands. So now I can go ahead and combine them, which is quite convenient. So I'm going to add 2 plus the 5, and I'm going to have, and you can do it all at once, but I'm showing you step by step. Minus 1, and again, remember, I don't need this index. And 7 minus 1 is 6, square root of 3. That is my final answer. We have the next example, and in this case, they're asking us to find the product of binomials. And we've done this before when we dealt with polynomials. So this is going to be kind of a review, which is going to be very helpful. First of all, one thing you need to know is that you're going to multiply kind of in order. You notice that you have 2 binomials. We have 1, 2. So this is going to be binomial number 1. And this one's going to be binomial number 2. What we want to do is multiply them, and we know that because we have parentheses. And kind of combine as much as we can. Okay, so now that you know what is what, we can go ahead and I'll show you a way that works all the time, and if you don't like it, tell me in class and I'll show you something else. First, what we're going to do is take this 4, multiply it times everybody in the second binomial. There could be more, it could be a trinomial. It would still multiply the 4 times anybody who's here, who's in the second group of, on the second expression. So what we're going to do is do 4 times 5. Then we're going to go ahead and multiply 4. Bring the plus. Is a positive times a positive, it's a positive. 4 times the next one, which is 4 times 4 square root of 2. So we're done with the 4 because we already multiplied the 4 times the 5, and the 4 times the 4 square root of 2. So we're done with that guy. Next, we're going to repeat the process, but with the 2 square root of 2. So what we're going to do with it, should also have said that 4 multiply that guy. What we're going to do with the 2 square root of 2 is do the same thing. We're going to multiply it times whoever is here. So now I'm going to add the plus because positive times positive is a positive. 2 square root of 2 times a 5. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with the next guy. So I'm going to do positive times positive is a positive. So I am going to do a 2 square root of 2 times a 4 square root of 2. So all we got to do next is kind of simplify. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and use black. 4 times 5 is 20. We're just multiplying numbers. Here we can only multiply the numbers outside. So 4 times 4 is 16 square root of 2. And the same thing here. I'm going to multiply this 5 with the 2 outside. And 2 times 5 is 10. I keep the square root of 2. Remember that. And here it gets kind of tricky because you have two things. You have 2 times 4, but you also have a product of square roots. But remember that when we have that, we can just multiply the numbers, which is 2 times 4 is 8. And I can just combine the product inside. 2 times 2 is actually 4. So, and if you don't get that, it's all I did was take this guy over here and this guy over here because they have the same index. I put them inside the square root, so I get 2 times 2 gives me 4. And I'm going to actually include one more step so that you can see it more clearly. I have 8, which came from the 2 times 4. And square root of the 4 is just 2. 8 times 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write my final answer here. So I'm going to do 20, because these guys have the same radicand and the same index, I can combine them. So I'm going to have 26 square root of 2 plus 8 times 2, which is 16. And I'm just going to have 36 plus 26 square root of 2. And that is my final answer. Oops.